You're not boring. You probably just need some hobbies. Have you ever been asked, what do you like to do for fun? And you're like, me personally, I think it's the Pisces in me, and I have like a billion hobbies, and I've always been like that. I think having hobbies is so important. It really builds character for your mental health, just for your sense of self, and like just being an individual. I don't know. I feel like when you go through school, I know like me going to high school, I always did dance, I did chorus, and those are like my hobbies. Going to college, it was easy to be around the community, and then you have like kind of hobbies that you do. I did a lot of Zumba classes and different little things like that. And then when you go into adulthood or have kids or ever start working, it can seem like all you do is really work and then come home and either watch your kids, be with your family, watch TV, scroll on your phone, and then it kind of feels like you don't have anything that you like to do outside of your major responsibilities, and that's not a good feeling. If you feel like you're boring, you're probably not boring. You probably just need some hobbies and some things to get into. So I want to tell you some of my hobbies that I like to do, some hobbies that I've seen that I'm interested in that I want to start doing. So if you like any of these hobbies, if you do any of these hobbies and you have like little tips, comment them below. If you're going to try any of these hobbies, comment below. And then if you have hobbies that you really love, comment below too, because I'm always looking for a new hobby. I feel like I'm like a very crafty person, so anything I can get my hands on and do fun things with and be creative, I'm all for it. And then some of these can be pretty hobbies. Hobbies don't have to be expensive things that you have to pay hundreds of dollars to get started. Sometimes you can start them from your home. Sometimes you can start it from under 100. But in some of the hobbies, of course, they add up over time and they do cost a little money. So I'll kind of mention like the prices that it took for me to start them and what I think the price range is. And I also want to mention that I feel like a lot of times there's pressure to feel like you need to monetize your hobbies. I think sometimes that can take the joy out of things. So I think it's important to have hobbies that you can monetize if you want to, but also hobbies that you just have for yourself and for your mental health, and that you just keep a fun hobby fun. Now, if all your hobbies are fun to you and you make money from them, that's perfect. And I saw this quote one time and it was like, you should have a hobby that keeps you in shape, one that makes you money, and one that keeps you that stimulates your mental health or keeps you creative or something like that. So like I said, you can take these suggestions or you cannot. But if you do, like I said, let me know. There are so many different hobbies that you can have, so many different things that you can explore. That's the beauty in having a hobby and building communities and trying different things. Hobbies that I love to do, but I'm not gonna like talk too much about them. One is balloon work. So I made a balloon arch like a few years ago. I made a balloon arch a few years ago for my mom's birthday, and I think that's a really fun hobby and that you can monetize. The supplies aren't that expensive. You could buy like a balloon kit on Amazon, but I also think if you're just like a person who likes to host, you can get into balloon work and like spice up your party, spice up your events, because I think balloons always just set off an event. So there's so many different, I've seen so many different like balloon work groups on Facebook and things like that. So that's a really cool hobby, and that's a fun hobby that you can get into if you want to, but I feel like that can also be monetized if you want to start doing balloon work for other people. Balloons are really cool and they're really fun, and you can get creative with it. Another hobby that I have recently started is bartending. I took a bartending class with a friend a few years ago, and I've actually started working with like a bartending company who like outsource to weddings and smaller events, starting trying to like practice my skills and things like that. So I think that's also a really fun skill if you just like to mix drinks yourself or you like to host events or throw parties. I think bartending is something that you can really teach yourself. You don't have to take a class. There's so many different bartending tips on TikTok, on Pinterest, so many different fun little drinks. And like I said, you could monetize that if you wanted to by working in the nightlife industry, working at weddings and things like that. There's so many different ways to get into the bartending field if you want to start practicing that. But I feel like most people do this skill at home. You can buy like a little mixing kit from Amazon. That's a fun skill to have and a fun hobby, and you can connect with people through that as well. Also, I wanted to mention, if you have a green thumb, I have like some plants that I have been trying to grow. I have like 4 plants now, and then I also have a friend who grows like her own herbs and vegetables. So I feel like that's a community that I see a lot on social media. Probably that makes it special when you can grow your own food and eat it. So I think that's a really fun hobby if you want to get into growing things and if you have a green thumb. The first hobby that I love to do, and of course I had to mention this one first because I feel like a lot of my channel content is around this, is nails. So I started doing my nails around, I don't know, it has to be over 5 years at this point. It's been like 5 years since I've been to the nail salon, and I love it. I feel like it's a creative outlet and it saves me money. Like I used to spend like $100 every 2 weeks to get my nails done with the designs that I wanted, and now I do them at home. You don't have to spend a lot to get started with nails. It really just depends on what you want to do. If you want to buy a lot of charms, then you can spend more, but if you just want some simple tips, some nail tips, and some gel polish, and like the lamp and a little kit like that, I'm sure you could buy a kit from Amazon for under $100 and get everything you need to get started. If you're just like a classic nail girl, you don't like too many charms, too many things in your nails, it's a fun hobby to do, and there's a big community for nails on social media. I've kind of monetized it, not in the sense that I do other people's nails, but I monetize it in the sense that I make content around nails. So nails is a really fun hobby. Look, check out some of the other videos on my channel if you want to see me do my nails more, but I always do my nails. I think it's really fun to get creative with it and see what I can make, and there's so much inspiration all over for nails. So the next hobby that I love to do, and I've had this hobby forever, reading is a big hobby that I feel like a lot of people explore. But reading is definitely a way to like get creative and stimulate your mind. There's so many different genres, so many different books. I really love that TikTok has opened like the door to like book talk, and now I get exposed to so many different authors. And reading is like you don't have to really spend anything to start reading. Of course, if you want to buy books and support authors that you love, you spend money on that. But I know that like Apple has like free books on there. I'm sure Amazon has free books if you get certain things. So reading is a very fun hobby. I feel like a lot of people, of course everybody knows about reading, but if you're, maybe you used to be a reader and you don't really do it anymore, you should explore, like see what topics you want to, or genre you want to look at, or a genre you want to read. Mystery, I tend to read a lot of romance, so check out reading if you're looking for a hobby. That could be a good place to start if you don't want to spend too much on a hobby and you want to start doing something. Okay, so candle making, I took a class maybe 3 years ago for the first time, and I went to a candle making class. It was one of my friend's birthdays, and I was like, why have I never thought of making candles? Like I was buying candles at that point quite often. I really love candles, so I was like, that's kind of like a fun hobby. I need to get back into it, but I've made like a few candles myself. So this is one of the candles that I made when I went to a candle shopping in Charlotte. So it's kind of almost gone, but I want to clean this out and then repurpose this jar. And I purchased this candle. I bought this candle and I really like this candle jar. So I want to clean this out and refill that as well. After I took the class like a few years ago, I ended up getting supplies from this place called Candle Science. And I got some wax, and I have like a big thing of wax over there. And it came with like wax, some wicks, some candle stickers. I bought like a few different scents. I don't really like any of the scents that I purchased anymore. I'm really like, I feel like one of my favorite scents for candles is probably like cake batter, birthday cake. So I'm gonna buy some of that and then attempt to like refill those jars with those scents, because you might as well stick with what you know. And I really love those. So you don't need too much to get started, but this does. I feel like this is a medium amount to a large amount to get started, because you need the wax, you need the scents. You don't really have to buy the vessels, because if you have vessels at home that you can reuse, do that. But so I have this candle gun. This didn't come with the kit, but like just extra stuff that I bought. Candles, this not candle gun, it's a heat gun. I got some, like some mixer, I don't know what this is called, beakers, I don't know, some thermometers, some jars. But most of my things that I have came from Candle Science, and I have a kit that I bought. But it's like more research than I thought. I thought making candles was gonna be like simple. You just pour some oil into some wax, let it cool. But it's not that simple. Like you need to like see if the wick size that you have is appropriate for the size of the jar. You need to know if the jar is big enough for one wick, or you need 2 wicks. There's like a math to how much oil you put in the wax, and the different waxes will differ depending, like you'll put different amounts of oil depending on the type of wax. It's a lot. So I kind of fell off from it, but I'm gonna get back on it because I still have my supplies, and if I bought it, I'm gonna use it. But I feel like candle is a really fun hobby to get into. You can check out candle making if you're looking for a cool hobby that's interesting and different, and you can get creative. I like when I see the people making candles and they put like all the fun little things on top, like the candles. I don't know. They're wax, but they're like in different shapes, like hearts, stars. I've seen candles that look like cake, so you can get creative with it. The next one I want to mention is pottery. I have a friend who goes to a pottery classes, so I know there's ways to get into it. I would say the price is like probably medium to high to get started, because you have to pay for the classes, because of course you don't have the equipment to just make some pottery. I made this when I went to Greece, and this is probably the last time that I did something with pottery. I used to do pottery like art class all throughout high school. I would always take an art class. So I've done pottery before, but this is like the first thing I probably made since I graduated, and I think it came out cute. But I've seen my friend who goes to pottery class make like jars and cups and different things that she actually uses around her house. So I feel like it's worth the money. Like, if you spend it on the class, but you actually get to use the things that you make, I feel like it's worth the money. Depending on where you live, there might be a lot or a small amount of classes that you can go and take pottery, but I feel like people are always teaching it. So that's a hobby that I want to explore more, that I haven't really done too much, but that's like a potential hobby that I'll do sometime in the future. Hobby that I'm going to mention, and I have explored it some on this channel, is scrapbooking. I started making a scrapbook with all the travel and all my birthday photo shoots that I've done, and I have to finish it, but I feel like scrapbooking is a very fun thing to get into, and it allows you to be creative. It allows you to make memories for sentimental purposes, and you can make scrapbooks and things that you can pass on to your loved ones, or just remember things, you know, as I love the look of the photo, and you can remember like how you were feeling at that moment, what you were doing at that time. Definitely pick up scrapbooking if you like love taking photos, you love being artsy. You can buy all the stickers that you want, have so many different stickers, and just get wild with it and be creative. Another hobby I want to mention, and this is really in the future hobby category, is cake making. I've been seeing like so many different cake videos on TikTok, and I want to attempt to make my own cake. I think I'm going to start with making a pound cake when I eventually get the energy to do it. I see people make like their own little cakes, and I eventually, if I have time, I want to try to make my own birthday cake. So I see them decorated. It looks really cool. I see so many different supplies on like Amazon. Even Shein has like cute little things that you can stick onto your cake to make them pretty. So that's a hobby that I plan on exploring in the future. So if you've been feeling like you're stagnant, or you don't really have anything to do or any hobbies, hopefully this video inspired you to start exploring some different hobbies. There's so many different things you can do out there. So get out there and just have fun with it and be creative. Hobbies are so essential. I feel like they make life exciting. They connect you with other communities. They can be monetized if you want to take that route, but they're very important. I think they're important for my mental health, just to have other things to do other than work and the other tasks that you have to do. So I'm going to be definitely exploring some of the hobbies that I've already been doing, and I'm going to be exploring some of the hobbies that I put on my bucket list. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and stick around so we can do these hobbies together.